Universities should not be training people to have a profession, to get a job, and to make money. University responsibility is beyond that. The university is the place where the best idea should be growing and implanted into a new generation that can create a new vision, in this case of sustainability. The challenge for the 21st century is in fact how we change the paradigm of the 20th century. We need to change the way we see the world, the way we relate to the environment. And in that sense, a university should provide the universal knowledge of how to integrate all the knowledge to come up with actions.
I think the word sustainability was not as strongly used when we opened. A lot of people say, you know, we've always been fully committed to this stuff, and I think if you look back on the original mission, the people who wrote it in 91 or 93 talked about the importance of environmental issues in the region and the need to develop undergraduate and graduate degrees focused on this. That's different than everybody has to take a course called the colloquium, you know, which came later, which probably really got us with this idea of, we had a learning objective called developing an ecological perspective. And that caused us to make the colloquium, help people develop that. So if there was a commitment early, I think I'm ready to argue that the commitment was towards talking the talk more than walking the walk. That we were going to have everybody take a class and they're going to learn about this, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to, in any important way, impact how we do what we do. We're going to build buildings the way we build. We're going to order equipment the way we order equipment. We're going to create waste the way we create waste.
There is a serious ethical discussion that needs to be brought up among the students and the society to analyze what are the consequences. And there are many ethical positions in terms of our vision to the environment. Those that looks at nature as something to be dominated is the one that have prevailed. But as Francis Bacon said, you know, nature to be commanded must be obeyed. And that's very true. You know, you have to know and have a deep understanding of the laws of nature so that you can construct with nature, not against it.
I want to believe that most of the commitment to sustainability in terms of our curriculum is placed in the colloquium course. So I want to hope and believe that the colloquium course is taught not as indoctrination, but as critical thinking.
It's a responsibility for all universities in the 21st century to make sure that every graduate of its institution is a person knowledgeable about human-environment relations and what to do about it and how to become an agent of change. Each person from each discipline, from the philosophy to the engineering, from the social scientists to the business community, every profession have something to say to promote what is sustainable. That is, in the final analysis, is what will help create condition of a livable earth. Otherwise, we're not going to be sustainable. And when we open our eyes, probably it might be too late to do something. So universities are the ones that are marking the future. And that is very critical. What is the new knowledge? What is the new vision we can create in the different campuses? And because of that, the university itself has to be the example of how to do that.
The student groups, they're the first time shooting videos, we're asking them to pick some water resource and to attack it from two different ways. One where you write a video that might show people how bad it could get if they don't change. So we're calling those the scary videos. And one that shows them possible solutions to a problem that empowers them with how they can bring about a better future. So do you have more impact on people by scaring them or giving them hope?
Yes.
Okay, so I believe hope does. But we have a long history in the environment of trying to scare people, right? You show them pictures of you know, 15-foot sea level rise to scare the crap out of them so they'll stop driving their SUV. And I'm afraid that just scares the crap out of them and it causes them to give up.
So early on, when no one believes the problem is real, you need a lot of establishment of the problem. So you need a lot of need step. Later, we hit a point where we all agree that there's a problem, but we may disagree on what to do about it. So then you're working on the satisfaction step. And then at some point, there's a question of whether or not it can really provide advantages. And I think we're at that stage now where largely there's agreement that there's a problem. And so we don't have to work quite so much on the fear appeals anymore. We always have to keep them in there, but we're at a point where we're now shifting, and the question now becomes, okay, we agree there's a problem, now what are we going to do about it? And can one of these solutions really provide advantages or not for a sustainable future?
Well, I think in everything we do, we think about how to be both sustainable for our own sake and to be an example of how you can build and manage sustainably for others. And of course, we're building it into our curriculum as well. So hopefully what you see is both good science and good education brought to the conversation, and continuing to re-examine what sustainability means. I mean, I think it's always a bit of a moving target. Something that's sustainable today may not be tomorrow.
I think of focusing on sustainability as not like tree-hugging greenwash. I think it's good business. You know, that if you're not asking questions in your own life or the institutions that you're a part of or the company that you work for, how can we do what we're doing now in a way that makes sure we can continue to do it in the future? How can we not waste energy? How can we not consume too much? How can we be more efficient? You know, those are all questions that would move us towards a more sustainable future. And if you're not asking them in your life, if you're not asking them in your business, you're not doing a good job, right? So I hope that it challenges people to be self-critical. I hope it teaches them to be self-critical.
A university that is more efficient in its use of energy, water, and resources, that's a move into the right direction. But this university is located in an area where urban sprawl is dominant. So most of the people have to come in cars. Most of the people, I don't know if they are living in the university or whatever, but the outside university have a lifestyle that have developed in the US and other places in the world where you have a very high energy consumption. People live very far from where they work, at least 10, 15, 20 minutes away, many miles away, and you're commuting all the time. Actually, if you don't have a car, it's as if you had no legs. You couldn't move. You're totally invalid if you don't have a car. So that creates a high energy consumption in terms of coming to the university. The university itself, you know, is very limited in terms of what it can do about it. But that is a more broad aspect of society. You know, what sort of living are we aspiring to the future? How that enters in conflict with your own liberties to do what you feel is your right to do because you are an individual. When your aspiration as an individual become in conflict with the environment, which one should prevail, and under what condition it should be the human or should be nature. We need to discuss that.
Took us over 3 years to get a permit to build a new recreation and fitness center because we had to do it in a way that was sensitive to the local environment down there. And so all of those things are part of an ongoing attempt to not only make the campus functional from an educational standpoint, but also functional from a sustainability standpoint. We're now right in the middle of re-examining our use of energy. How we have a large solar field, as you know, but that solar field is getting a bit dated. And the question is, what do we do in our next iteration of solar generation? And where do we put it? And where do we maximize its use? So all of that's out there as part of an ongoing conversation with the faculty, with student leaders, and with the community as well.
David Orr said one of the times he came to campus that building at a university should not be about getting the job done. It should be about changing the way we think. And I think that was brilliant. And I want to hope that the next 20 years would see the fulfillment of that.
And I'll just simply say again, we encourage everybody to be part of the conversation. Whether we all agree on every topic or not is not the point. The point is that we're all agreeable in the process of carrying out the conversation.